have today the genuine honor to have here Marcelo Arantes and Fernando Musa from Braskem. Braskem is the second largest private company in Brazil, the largest petrochemical in Americas, and the global leader in green plastics. Marcelo is the VP of Personal Organizations at Braskem. He has a background in business administration. He has worked for many multinational companies in Brazil, ABB and Fiat. And Fernando Musa, he also has a lot of experience working for a number of multinationals in Brazil, for McKinsey, for Monitor. And we are here today to talk about this company, a Brazilian company that now is really becoming a global player. Musa, why don't we start and you tell us a little bit how you become this global player from a Brazilian petrochemical company to really a global player?
Well, the company started a consolidation process in Brazil back in 2002. And after a few years, it was clear that we would reach a dominant position in the local market and that we would need to find new avenues for growth. And the internationalization was an obvious choice. We could expand doing what we were very good at, which is producing polymers, running the petrochemical centrals. And this is the path we chose to grow through internationalization.
And how was the decision to start your globalization process in the Americas, in the United States?
We did a very detailed analysis about all the opportunities globally, and we quickly came to the conclusion that the Americas was a market that was somewhat insulated from the other regions. There was a lot of trade going on north-south, but not a lot with other regions. And this was one driver. The second driver was being from an emerging country. We were looking for more mature markets to risk manage the profile of the businesses we have, and this made the US a natural choice. And this is how we started the process through the acquisition of a company here in the US.
Which companies did you buy here?
We bought the polypropylene businesses of Sunoco Chemicals, which is a very large oil company, and had decided to divest the chemicals, and we bought the polypropylene, which is comprised of 3 plants in the US with headquarters here in Philadelphia.
Okay. And nowadays we do have 35 plants and 28 plants in Brazil, 5 plants in the United States, and 2 plants in Germany. So the decision to come to the United States is for the natural path for our growth in America. It's not to become a global player. We do have a strong position in Latin America some years ago, but in order to have a better competitive position, it's a natural to come to the United States and a mature market in order to continue our growth.
Right. And I mean, both of you joined Braskem in 2010, and you are kind of one of the, two of the leading executives kind of behind this globalization process. In those 2 years, kind of what are the good and bad surprises in your internationalization process?
It's interesting. Of course, we joined the company at the same time, but Fernando has worked with a lot of different projects in Braskem previously. One bad surprise for us during the internationalization process was to deal with the strike here in the United States. We just started operation here in May 2010. 2 months after that, we on a strike in one plant here, without too much negotiation, without too much contact with the employees. So it surprised us to just arrive in the United States and deal with the strike. And the strike took 7 months to finish. And the good surprise, on the other hand, that the engineers were extremely committed with our philosophy and start to run the plant. So at the same time, we have some people from the shop floor stop working, and the people from engineers getting outside of the office and entering into the plant and operating the plant for 7 months. It was a good surprise for us.
And I mean, you mentioned about Braskem's philosophy, Braskem's culture. Can you tell us a bit what is this Braskem's culture?
Oh, it's easy to tell about our corporate culture. We do have a consolidated corporate culture in our organization that's easy to understand. Our philosophy is based on some key principles. One of them is trust. As soon as you join our company, we trust on you. It's a basic of our organization. Delegation. It's another point. We empower people to deal with the activities, to run their business. It's another point. All of this delegation and trust is based on humility and simplicity. So to deal with the people that like to make the job run, to feel confident to run our business, and to have empowerment to deal with the business. This is our key message for our culture.
And this is one of the key drivers in the internationalization process. When we acquire companies, we apply that. So we keep the teams, and we use a very limited number of expatriates to be the role models and the pillars for the culture to really be embraced by the new organization. And through trust, through delegation, for a very thorough planning process, we are able to have the teams operate in our way of doing business really fast.
Yeah, so just to give an idea, we do have in the United States 500,000 500 employees working here for us. Only 5 come from Brazil. Why a short number of people? Because we trust in the local people. Our culture, our philosophy is to trust in the local people. The people locally know the culture of the country much better than us. But what our people bring to them? Our philosophy, some part of our knowledge into run the business, and some technical experience. But we trust in the local people.
Right. And I mean, and by knowing you, maybe it's not kind of random that both of you are kind of casually dressed, very simple, very humble. How do you compare that with the culture of the North American companies you're being acquired? Because people can have a very different orientation, very different drive here. How are you comparing kind of the culture that you're bringing from Brazil with the culture that you're encountering here in the U.S.?
It's a good question, but it's very important to mention that not all companies in Brazil has the same culture as Braskem has. It's our culture. I do believe that a lot of companies in Brazil has a different culture, more hierarchical, more bureaucratic structure than us. I think that we are facing a good situation here in the United States. As soon as we enter in our organization, we have a strong communication with all of them about our philosophy. And we were well received by the American employees here. For us, it's easier to merge the companies because of our philosophy is to delegate, to trust in people. So for us, it's easier. We're not here to implement another completely different culture. So it's easy to deal with the different culture for us.
Right. And I mean, I know Mexico is also very important to you. How do you compare your experience in Mexico vis-a-vis the United States?
Mexico is a very different situation because we are entering the country through a greenfield project, i.e. we are building a new plant. We did not acquire any company, so we started with 2 people. Now we have probably, 50 or 60. The number of expatriates is larger because we're building the project, so we didn't have time yet to hire locally, and we are in the process of doing it. And we decided to do the project with a local partner. So we do have one of the largest petrochemical companies in Mexico as a partner in the project to help us bring the local knowledge, the local understanding, the connections with the clients, the suppliers, etc. So the challenge in Mexico is very different. How are we going to build a team? And in the process of building this team, create and install the culture that we're used to. Personally, I think it's going to be more challenging in Mexico than in the US. Our culture is very similar to the traditional work ethic that you would find in a typical North American or US-based company. Mexico is much more hierarchical. Our culture is everything but hierarchical. It's about trust, it's about delegation, it's about having people doing what they need to do and going after the necessary resources and fighting for what is right and not waiting for somebody from headquarters to give them orders. And this will be a big challenge in Mexico from my point of view and based on my experience there.
I mean, we know that going abroad in the internationalization process is a long process. And you guys started recently. But if you were to tell us, what were the key lessons learned in those kind of initial years of operating abroad?
I think one key lesson is that, I mean, the cultural transfer is possible, is doable. We are testing this in two different scenarios: when we acquire, when we enter as a startup in a country, and I think we're learning from the two processes. So this is one of the key points. The other important learning is that a very good analysis and detailed understanding of what we are buying, how the market we are entering operates is crucial. We see that, for example, now we started to operate in Germany when we acquired the polypropylene business from Dow. Our key strategic interest was in the plants in the US, but we acquired the overall business, and we had the two businesses, two plants in Germany, which is a market that we did not know well. We did not go into a lot of detail analyzing it before, and now getting to this business, understanding how it operates is more challenging than what we're experiencing in the US with the two plants we acquired here.
That's what we have learned. But of course, we do have a lot of room for improvements in our organization. We do have a lot of questions that we don't have an answer at this time. Mm-hmm. For example, how are we going to organize our structure for the next periods? What will be the next? What type of challenge you're going to have to deal with different countries and that you're going to have in the near future? We don't know. For example, what type of leadership style should we have to implement in our organization in order to continue our growth? That's why we are here at Worten too, in order to develop our leaders to have a global mindset. At this time, we don't have a global mindset. We just start our globalization process. So we do have a room to improve.
Wonderful. And I mean, if you're talking about improvement and leadership, I think one area that a lot of people have been praising you and Braskem is you are the global leader in green plastics. Can you explain to us, first, what green plastic is, and second, how you achieve that leadership position?
Sure. Green plastics are products made from renewable feedstock. So instead of using a feedstock coming from oil or gas, we use feedstock that comes from the biomass produced in Brazil through the ethanol production in Brazil. So this is the key driver of our renewables / green plastics.
Ethanol from sugarcane, right?
Ethanol for sugarcane, and when you think about oil and gas as the key feedstock for the traditional plastics, you have the Middle East as the most competitive place. And Brazil is the Middle East for ethanol, is the most competitive place for the ethanol production globally. All of the big players are moving there and trying to position themselves in the ethanol production. And this is the key feedstock for green polymer. And we do believe that being a Brazilian company, we will be able to reap the benefits of the very good competitive and comparative advantages that we will have in the biomass / ethanol production in Brazil.
Right. I imagine that there must be a lot of research and a lot of innovation coming from Braskem to develop that. Can you give us some insight in terms of, I mean, you didn't reach the leadership position from one day to another. So how much time you invested to be able to create a green plastic?
Actually, the process we use, it's a pretty old process from a technological point of view. It's a 50-year-old technology that we have been improving significantly. And we started back in 2004, 2005 to invest in upgrading this technology to a process where it would be very competitive, which we reached by 2007, and in 2007 the decision was made to invest in a large plant in the south of Brazil, which is the current plant that we have that is able to produce 200,000 tons of green polyethylene. We have been investing both in developing this current technology, but we are also investing in other bio-based, biotechnology-based technological routes for different products that are not the green polyethylene. So it is a very intense R&D effort that is done in Brazil, that is done in partnership with other research institutes or other companies globally. And we are investing a lot through this partnership. We are investing a lot in building the team in Brazil and attracting talent in Brazil and from abroad to work with us there. It's a key priority for us.
And nowadays we do have two research centers, one located here in Pittsburgh and other one located in the south of Brazil. We do have approximately 250 employees working in innovation centers with us. We are continuously recruiting research and scientists to work with us. So we will continue to innovate in our company. It's crucial for us. 12% of our net revenue comes from the innovation in the last 3 years. So it's very important for us. If you look forward to our vision to 2020, is to lead the sustainable chemistry. So it means that we will continue to innovate in our business. And green plastic is crucial for us.
And is this still a niche market? And what are the kind of prospects of green plastics becoming really mass market?
Today it is a niche product. I think the reality of green plastic as a mass market will depend on the development of technology to increase the production yield from biomass to the polymers, which is part of a relevant part of our R&D efforts. It will also depend on the consumer attitude. Today and for the foreseeable future, the cost of producing the green polymer is slightly higher than the alternative. So there is a cost to switch, which the consumers need to be willing to pay for. Today we do have very interesting niches where the consumers are interested in paying more for this more sustainable product. But as the consumer perception, the consumer interest in sustainable solutions increases globally, this will put more pressure and will help us increase the scale. We do not expect this to be happening in the next 2-3 years. This is something for the decades to come, this change from a niche to a more mass market type of product.
What is the current premium comparing the green plastic to the traditional plastic?
It is relevant in the 20 to 30% price differential, which is significant.
Okay. I mean, I think if we were having this conversation maybe 5 years ago, we would have a story about a Brazilian company. Successful petrochemical Brazilian company, but a Brazilian company. Now, beginning of 2012, we have this Brazilian company, but which is already a global player, largest player in the Americas, kind of leader in certain segments. If we fast forward and look ahead, where do you think you will be in 5 years' time if we were having this conversation in 2017? What do you envision for Braskem in this time frame?
We will keep investing first in our home market. Brazil is a growing economy. There are still a lot of opportunities there. So we will keep investing in Brazil. Second, we will continue the globalization process of the company. The Americas is a key priority. We have the operations in the US. We have the project in Mexico. We have already announced that we are evaluating a project in Peru. So Americas is a strong priority. We do now have 2 plants in Germany, and given our culture of delegation, of trust, I'm certain that the current leader of the European operations will come to us in 1 year, 2 years' time with a series of very interesting investment opportunities and investment ideas, which we'll analyze, and maybe in 5 to 10 years' time, our presence in Europe will be much more significant. But we do believe that we can be one of the global leaders in the petrochemical industry, and we will keep pursuing these avenues. with the green polymers and the green chemicals at large as a very, very important differentiator and a very interesting growth vector for the future of the company.
And otherwise, of course, in the 5 years' time, I do believe that will be one of the best companies to work for in a global base. Probably a lot of people from other cultures work with us. One of us will not be at this position here. Yeah. Probably someone from India, or someone from Germany, or someone from the United States, someone from Mexico, or Peru, or Bolivia will be here telling with you in the nearest time. And of course, with a lot of different innovation products in our organization and from different cultures, different management styles, building a unique culture.
Fernando, Marcelo, thank you so much. This was a wonderful conversation.
Pleasure.
And we're looking forward to engaging in continued conversations with you and Braskem.
Thank you. Thank you.